Welcome back to our third lesson on the topic of surface area and volume. Today we'll be looking at volume of pyramids and cones. We're going to move on from surface area and going to volume. So let's do a little short recap of finding the volume of a solid. So in particular, prisms, cylinders, things like that. So the recap of this is basically to find the volume of a solid, you always need the area of the cross-section times the height. Now the area of the cross-section is basically if you've got a tissue box and you cut it every single time, the shape that will always be prominent will be either a rectangle, if it's a tissue box, if it is a Toblerone, every time you cut it, it's a triangle. Things like that, right? That basic shape that every single time that you're going to cut it, it's going to be the exact same shape. That's what a cross section is. That's what we call a uniform cross section. Okay. Now, a shortened way to write this down, if you don't want to use your words, it'll be V equals a capital A, meaning for area, times height. Now the height, again, it's very important to understand that it's the height of the perpendicular height of a solid. So for example, in a pyramid, it'll be from the apex to the base, right? That is my perpendicular height. It's where it forms a 90-degree angle, okay? So let us get started on the formula for a volume of a pyramid and a cone. Now, the volume of a pyramid and a cone, it'll be exactly the same formula, which makes it twice as easier for you guys to remember, less things to remember. So volume equals to 1/3 times area of the base times the height. Or the shortened version, if you don't like words, V equals 1/3 times capital A times H. So why? Why is it 1/3? Well, 1/3 is because a pyramid and a cone, actually, fun fact, it is actually 1/3 of the volume of a prism or a cylinder. If you want to look into it more, search it up, go ahead. It's very, very interesting. But we need to focus. We need to go through some examples. So let's do our first example, which is this one right here. Calculate the volume of the following. Now, the first question is a pyramid. Now, we need to identify, well, what type of pyramid is it? Is it a triangular pyramid, rectangular pyramid, square pyramid, octagonal pyramid, hexagonal pyramid? Don't know, right? We need now to look at the diagram. Now, the diagram here, there's one little clue that tells us what type of pyramid this is, which is what I would like to call it, the Hungry Jack chip is present. Hungry Jack chip means that each side are exactly the same, right? If there are two Hungry Jack chips on one side, that means that, let's say, this one and this one are exactly the same length. But in this case, I'll just write it down. So it equals to the same length. In this case, the Hungry Jack chip is in each side of the base, which hints to me that it's going to be a square pyramid. Okay, so we need to remember and go back to our area formulas of a square. Again, I've written down the formula 1/3 times capital A times H. The A will be the area formula of the base. Okay. So let's get started. 1/3 is a number, so let's just bring that down. The area of a square, the area formula of a square is actually side times side. If you would like to, if it makes it easier for you, write it down as S squared. That's up to you. I'm just breaking it down. The side length of the square is 10. So again, I'm going to write down 10 times 10 times the perpendicular height is 12 centimeters. Okay. Make sure you don't get confused on this part. All right. Now, what we will get is, if you put this all into your calculator, you will get 400 centimeter cube. We're dealing with volume. Volume means centimeter cube, area means centimeter squared, perimeter meaning centimeter. Okay. Please make sure you remember that. Now let's go to our second example. Second example is a code. Right. Super easy. Let's start. Write the formula. That's our first step. 1/3, bring it down to the next line. Now, the area of the base, right? It is a circle. What is the area formula of a circle? Well, it's actually pi r squared times h. If it makes it easy for you, write down the formula before subbing in things, okay? So 1/3 times pi times my radius is 5 centimeters. So I'm going to sub that in now. Times, so radius squared, times my height, my perpendicular height is 8. Put that all into your calculator and you will get 209.4 centimeter cube. And I'm going to write down 1 decimal place. If this makes it easier for you, I definitely recommend to draw the base of the triangle, right, and label it, which I've done here. This is one strategy that you can use. Then what I would do is find the area of the triangle first before we add it into the formula, which will be half times base times height. That's our area formula. My base is, so half times my base is 5 times 7, right? And I should get the answer as 17.5 centimeters squared, right? Centimeters squared, we're finding the area first, not the volume. Now let's figure out the volume. I've written down here the formula. 1/3 times, let's substitute, right? We figured out our A, or our area, which is 17.5. I'm just going to substitute that in. Times our height. We've labeled that our height is actually, our perpendicular height is 8. Substitute that in. And if you put that into your calculator, you should get 46.7 centimeter cube. So that is our last example. I'm going to stop it right here and then make a part 2. So yeah, I'll see you then. Bye.